They call him the quiet one. He walks in and says nothing. He doesn't try to own the room. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't interrupt. He observes. He listens more than he speaks. He chooses his words like a sculptor chooses his chisel. Precise, intentional, silent. And yet, every eye finds him. Every woman glances twice. Some even lean in without knowing why. Why? Because in a world full of noise, the man who says less speaks more. Think about it. Most men talk because they're uncomfortable with silence. But the high-value man, he makes silence comfortable, even magnetic. You've been told confidence is loud, that charm is talking fast, that attraction means always knowing what to say, always messaging, always explaining, always proving. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if power comes from pause, from presence, from poise? The most attractive men don't fill space. They hold it. They don't try to be seen. They become impossible to ignore because silence isn't empty. It's focused. It's masculine. It's felt. The quiet man doesn't perform. He radiates something unspoken, but undeniable. He knows something most people never learn. Stillness is not weakness. It's strength. Mastered. Silence isn't absence. It's presence. And presence is rare. So let me ask you, when you walk into a room, are you trying to prove you belong? Or are you anchored enough to let the room come to you? Because when a man can sit in silence without shrinking, he doesn't need to impress. He already is the impression. So let's unpack this. Why do women feel magnetized by the silent man? And how can you become that man without faking, forcing, or losing yourself? Let's go deeper. You've probably seen it. He's not the best looking. He's not the loudest. He's not trying. And yet, she's watching him, not because he's doing something, but because he's not. He's not chasing. He's not proving. He's not seeking approval. He's still. And that stillness, that's what pulls her in. You see, women are wired for subtle signals, for emotional frequencies, for the unspoken. They can feel when a man is anchored, when his silence isn't fear, but focus, and it changes how they respond. When most men get nervous, they talk more. When they feel pressure, they crack jokes. They text twice. They explain themselves. They try to win her with words. But the man who knows his worth doesn't need to speak, because his presence already speaks for him. And that's where the game changes. Because here's what no one tells you. When you don't rush to fill space, she does. When you can sit in her silence, she starts to wonder what you're thinking. And that curiosity, that's how you go from interesting to unforgettable. Women aren't attracted to emptiness. They're attracted to containment, to the man who can hold tension, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't chase clarity. You know why? Because he becomes the question, and she wants the answer. So next time you're tempted to overtalk, overshare, overprove, pause, feel the moment. Let the weight of your presence do the work. Because when a woman senses you're not trying to get her, you become the kind of man she wants to understand. That's the power of quiet strength. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how this energy shifts her behavior, how she starts moving toward you. Stay with me. Let's flip the script. You don't need to chase her. You don't need to prove yourself. Because when your energy is grounded, she moves toward you. How? Not all at once, not with dramatic gestures, but with subtle shifts. She leans in more when you speak. She holds eye contact longer. She asks deeper questions. She lingers just a second longer before saying goodbye. These aren't accidents. They're responses. Responses to a presence that doesn't pull, but pulls her in. Because here's the secret most men never learn. You don't attract her by being louder. You attract her by being clearer. Clear in your posture, clear in your vibe, clear in your center. That clarity, it creates space. And in that space, she feels something she doesn't feel with most men. Safety, mystery, curiosity. Not because you're hiding anything, but because you're not giving away everything. You're not afraid of pauses. You're not rushing to fill the gaps. You're not performing. You're being. And that beingness, it has gravity. And when you stop chasing, she starts wondering, what makes him so calm? Why doesn't he try harder like the others? Who is this man really? Now she's thinking about you when you're not around. She's bringing you up in conversations. She's testing the waters, seeing if she can get closer without losing herself. That's the difference between attraction and attention. Attention fades fast. Attraction pulls her back. So here's your move. Hold your center. Don't overthink. Don't overreach. Let the energy speak louder than your words ever could. Because when she starts leaning in, emotionally, physically, energetically, you've already shifted the dynamic. You're not chasing, you're being chosen. And not because you begged for it, but because you stood still long enough for her to see you. Coming up next, we're going to break down exactly what it means to be centered and how to hold it when her energy starts testing your balance. This is where most men fail. Everything's going well, and then suddenly, she pulls back. She doesn't reply as fast. She gets a little colder. She seems distracted, distant, different. And you panic. You start overthinking. Did I say something wrong? Maybe she's losing interest. I should message her again, just to be sure. Stop, because what you're experiencing is not rejection. It's a test. She's not trying to hurt you. She's checking something deeper. She's asking silently, is his calm real or fragile? Is his energy steady or performance? Will he collapse if I pull away? And the truth? Most men do. They flinch. They double text. They overcompensate. They go from confident to desperate in seconds. But you're different. Because you've trained for this. You expect the test. You welcome it. Because you understand something powerful. Masculine energy is not about chasing comfort. It's about holding frame under pressure. When she pulls back, you don't react. You don't accuse. You don't explain. You observe. You breathe. You let the silence reveal the truth. And in that moment, she sees something most women rarely feel. A man who isn't shaken. A man who doesn't beg. A man who trusts his own gravity more than he fears her distance. That's rare. That's what builds respect. That's what turns spark into fire. So the next time it happens, the next time the energy shifts and she backs off, smile. Because now the test has begun. And how you respond defines the entire game. Stay grounded. Because in the next section, we're going to break down the difference between a man who wants her and a man who chooses her. Most men want her. They want her attention, her validation, her approval, her body, her time. They want and want and want. And that's exactly why she pulls away. Because there's a difference between wanting a woman and choosing her. Wanting says, I need something from you to feel good about me. Choosing says, I see your value, but I don't lose mine in the process. Wanting creates pressure. Choosing creates freedom. And women feel the difference in their bones. The man who wants her texts too fast. He explains too much. He walks on eggshells. He asks for permission to be himself. But the man who chooses, he's selective. He's intentional. He doesn't give his energy freely because he knows it's valuable. He doesn't chase random attention. He attracts real connection. And that's what changes everything. Because when a woman senses that you're not addicted to her presence, that you're not clinging to her response, she relaxes. Why? Because now she's not being used to validate a man's insecurity. She's being seen by a man who stands on his own, a man who doesn't need her to fill the silence, a man who doesn't need to win her to prove he's worthy, a man who knows who he is before she ever walks into the room. That's attractive, that's stable, that's unforgettable. So ask yourself, do you want her or are you choosing her? And more importantly, are you choosing yourself first? Because when you do, something subtle shifts in your energy. She feels it, she leans in, and she starts asking the one question that every man hopes to inspire. Why does he feel so different? In the final section, we'll show you how to anchor this energy permanently, so you don't just attract her once. You stay unforgettable long after you leave the room. So now you know, it's not about being louder. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being the most charming guy in the room. It's about being still when others fidget. It's about speaking less and meaning more. It's about choosing her without losing you. Because here's the truth. She doesn't remember the guy who tried the hardest. She remembers the one who made her feel something real. The man who didn't chase her, but left a silence so strong she couldn't ignore it. The one who wasn't afraid to let her go, because he never needed her to complete him. That's the difference between attention and attraction, between being noticed and being felt. And that man, the one who speaks with his presence, that man doesn't just leave impressions, he leaves imprints. So if you're ready to step into that energy, not someday, not when she texts back, but now, then this channel is for you. Start by watching our previous video, what she's really testing you for and why you keep failing. It's a deep dive into the hidden signals women use to measure your emotional center. If this video woke up something in you, that one will lock it in. And that's just the beginning. On this channel, you'll learn how to hold masculine frame even when things go cold, the psychology behind why some men become unforgettable, and how to create powerful emotional presence without trying so hard if that's the man you're building. Hit subscribe, drop a comment below and tell us, which part of this video spoke to you most? Let your voice carry through your stillness. Let your presence speak louder than your performance. And remember, you don't chase women, you choose who sees you. You are the Stoic Alpha.